everybody, and welcome back to The Hole in the World, The War Report, an Invisible Sun interlude by Manapot Studios. I am, as always, your GM, Zach, otherwise known as Great Zamino, and I use he, him pronouns. And I am joined once again, as always, by my lovely cast members, starting up in the upper left-hand corner. Marcy, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, it's me, Marcy, aka Experimental Madness, and that's the name you can find me around most places on the internet except for Twitter, where I am continuing to remain as the resident cryptid under the username Marciful. But you can find me there. I'm super excited to be back once again playing the irreverent Mott, the connected empathic apostate who fuses nightmares to fists.
Excellent. Below her on the overlay, Bill, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, I'm Bill. I'm Ghost Spike on Discord. And today I'm playing Kieran von Milas the Tailor, an Aromatic Stoic who of the Order of Makers, who warps time and space. I have to read it every time.
Excellent. Hopper, who you playing?
I am Hopper. I use they, them pronouns, and I can be found in and on and around the interwebs at Fail Deadly. That's with a 3 instead of an E because I'm a bad person. See, I can get that down really fast, but watch me because I'm not a coward. Try to do it from memory. I am tonight. I will be reprising my role as Okras, the iconoclastic, ardent apostate who heralds endings.
Yeah, all right. Nicely done. And finally, rounding out our motley crew, Marissa, if you could introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marissa, also known as Critical Kitten, with a variety of punctuation in various corners of the internet. And I am playing the mildly Machiavellian Vancian battle strategist who was recently chastised by her father, Magister Allegra von Hollingsworth, callsign the Rook, who is an Aromatic Stoic of the Order of the Vance, who claims dominion over ideas. Yeah, it's me.
Excellent. It's you. Okay, guys, so we are going to launch into back where we were in just a moment. The thing I would like to go ahead and do, however, is give you guys a bit of a recap. And before I do that, I think that I need to put in a little bit of music. So bear with me for that momentarily. So, where last we left the Caderak, the secret operatives working on the behalf of the Army of Satyrine, they had invaded a large, gigantic carcass that had previously belonged to a god, presumably felled in battle over the course of the war, that had the strange kind of machinery, both organic and metallic and machine-like, woven through it, realizing very quickly that it had been a facility repurposed for the sake of research by Ordo Rem, the presumed traitor of to the Army of Satyrine and to the Caderak. Over the course of the action, we learned several things. One, that it was not necessarily Ordo who had been in control of his body at the time of the creation of this facility. No, indeed, it might have been a person from, in fact, the Irreverent Mott's past. One very kind of mysterious figure named Marlowe. And inviting Irreverent Mott to follow him into a yawning black door. Irreverent Mott obliged him, finding themselves trapped inside of a trap laid by, or kind of a object of power trap laid for them by Marlowe. So essentially, trapped in this room, you had a very tense discussion with Marlowe about his plans and how soon they were coming to fruition. And while you were doing that, the fear effect that you had used to rebuff the the torturous wretches populating the facility was dispelled, and the rest of the Caderak members found themselves in the middle of combat. That said, Okras made very quick work of these wretches, along with the assistance of Allegra. But at the same time, while you guys were doing this, you found yourselves on the benefit of a time spot ability that Kieran had basically activated, giving him, along with the help of the apparition of Ordo Rem, plenty of time to disable a catastrophic pain engine device that, if disarmed or destroyed magically, could result in certain doom for all those inside the facility and perhaps beyond to several surrounding districts. The purpose of this device is still unknown to you, aside from the fact that Ordo seems to point out that this device was used to essentially amplify the natural abilities of Vizsla and use them and employ them in ways that were deleterious to the actuality itself and to the surrounding area. But just as you guys were kind of coming upon these revelations, you guys were interrupted by a creature known as the Enemy of Space, a creature in a spiritual form that managed to trap Okras before being banished to the Noosphere by Allegra to engage in spiritual combat. While this spiritual combat was undertaken, Okras, along with members of the Last Gasp, and also the one lone Arabast helper, Maduin, you were intent on searching the rest of the facility for Maduin's brother. However, you guys were stopped because you managed to find out about a strange stowaway or fugitive within this facility, who it turned out to be a man in very familiar silver trappings and armor that Okras, you recognized as Jeren, Corporal Jeren, who ostensibly is meant to be an ally to the Army of Satyrine, but who twice tried to impair and destroy you. Sensing that his time was limited and his ability to affect things was short, was in no good supply, he attempted to use a very nasty ephemera item, namely the blood-soaked feather of a dead angel, to try to essentially do damage to you. However, this item seemed to have no effect on you whatsoever. And it is in this moment that we will rejoin you. However, before we do that, Allegra, as you engaged in this spiritual combat and were about to emerge victorious against this creature, this enemy of space, you found your victory snatched out of your hands by someone from your own past, someone who you recognize to be your father, Adrian von Hollingsworth, who looks at you haughty and imperious. And it is in this moment that we will rejoin you. Adrian von Hollingsworth, could you describe him for me, Allegra?
Yes. So Adrian Belgrave von Hollingsworth, he likes his middle name title too, is a man with powerful shoulders, a fierce dark face, and eyes that seem to flash and glitter with savage laughter. He is tall and powerfully built. His movements tend to reflect his intimidating presence, and he has a way of dominating a situation or place. He has the insight and charisma of a poet, but the stony disdain of a statue, one that has been carved to perfection, but as such is unflinching and aloof. And so Adrian Belgrave von Hollingsworth stands before Allegra here.
And he looks at you, the power still crackling from his fingertips as he basically extinguished or seemingly the life from this demonic entity. And he's looking at you expectantly, just almost kind of moving his fingers one against the other as if to kind of get the dirty residue of this combat off of them.
Allegra looks as though, as she has been, she looks as though she's been pulled out of the heat of battle. So her hair is down rather than it's in its usual updo. Her long dark curls are tangled and slicked back with sweat. Her robes are torn and stained with dirt and dust and blood, but nonetheless, she sinks into a deep curtsy and inclines her head in deference. Hello, Adrian.
As you do that, you notice the bits of your form in this noosphere is still a spiritual form. It is as though they begin knitting and mending themselves as if to kind of meet the moment of this formality. And as you rise, you kind of, once again, your spiritual form matching the formality of Adrian's domicile, he looks at you and says, I still have not heard an answer. Is this my home now to be the site of some rude challenge?
Forgive my presumption, sir, but I didn't expect you to be in attendance in this part of the noosphere. It is, after all, usually in your season to be in residence on the Blue Sun. And, if I may be so bold, you have always taught me to take your enemy to a battlefield that you control, and the Hall of Adrios was the first place that sprung to mind. After all, this is where my training began, did it not?
It is. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, and she looks up at him.
He looks at you, and there is, again, that kind of smug smirk on his face as he looks at you and says, I'm glad some of my teachings seem to have reached you.
Indeed, but you need not have troubled yourself to interfere in my affairs.
Oh, really? It's more trivial than I thought it might be. Did you struggle there?
Struggle would be one framing, but I had it under control. Right before you arrived, I was about to finish off this enemy of space, if you hadn't noticed.
Interesting. And so I take it this is part of some larger effort for the war, then?
Yes, it is part of my stationing as a member of the Caderak. I'm not sure if you heard or if you've been too long in the blue, but I am part of an elite force. We are something of a special forces, special operations squad sent to dispatch particularly difficult problems. I am the Vance's representative, and she looks a little proud.
And you offer this information to just anybody. I could have been an illusory duplicate of some sort. I could have been any kind of spy wearing some other form, and you just volunteer this information.
You test me yet again, Father. You could not reproduce yourself in the noosphere, not in this part of it. Certainly, this is your domain, and it would take a far greater creature than someone of that kind to reproduce the whole part of Adrian Belgrave von Hollingsworth without a degree of authenticity.
Make a interaction roll for me.
Can do. That's an 8.
He is purposely trying to keep you on your back foot. Now, this is more, you realize there is not there is not necessarily anything that you will say that will be able to satisfy him.
She's very used to that.
And he looks to you, he looks over at the kind of the carcass of this creature, and looks to you and then says, so I take it the war effort is going well then?
It depends on who you hear tell it, but I'm sure you and your sources on the blue have given you much the same message. It seems as though we are winning, but it does depend on who you ask. Some say that the fact that we seem to be winning is, in fact, evidence that we are not. Have you heard anything of this kind?
Yes. I have heard rather the opposite, in fact. My sources seem to imply that the Visley of the Sun's days are numbered.
Numbered, as in we are all going to be extinguished.
Something's coming down the pipe. I'm not sure what it is. All I would tend to argue is that if you truly have at least your mother's modicum of self-worth, you should probably leave this organization when at the first opportunity you find it.
Adrian, you need not bring Mother into this. Mother would have stood by the Vance, and you know that as well as I.
But at what cost? At her own life? Clearly, that is very much the case with her, but I would hope that you have enough of my sensibility inside you that you would know the purposelessness of that endeavor.
There's a difference between pragmatism and selfishness, Adrian, and I like to think that it's Mother's influence that helps me know where to draw that line.
I don't think you quite finished up. And he points to the enemy of space as it seems to be moving subtly to try and raise itself up to reach forward a claw.
I think a half smile quirks up Allegra's face. This is, I think, something her father seems to be offering her the final kill, and this is reminiscent of interactions that she had with her father as a child, often as they were training and doing battle. For old time's sake, Father, you would allow me to finish him.
I suppose that there's no other way for you to leave this place, then.
Well, this is your domain, Adrian. My magic is subjugated under your control until you allow me to leave. That is how it works here, is it not? Sir?
It is. And as this thing reaches up to claw at you, he just squeezes with his hand, and a explosion of ichor comes out of this thing's chest. And it slumps and begins to deliquesce. And once again, I assume that as more information becomes relevant to your operations, at least within my purview, you would be interested in knowing more?
Yes, if you have information to share, we need power, and certainly if you have resources at your disposal, either strategic information or even weapons of any kind from the blue, we could use the assistance.
And he considers you, his finger kind of moving to his chin in contemplation, and he looks at you and he says, I'll consider it. In the meantime, I think you should work to improve your form. And before,
says the man.
And before you can respond, he gestures, and you find your spiritual form returning to your body, where we rejoin everybody in the middle of this action mode.
That scene fucking ruled. Are you kidding?
Adrian always has to have the last word. And I think as Allegra is coming back into her body, her retort is on her lips. Like she speaks it into the world, even though Adrian is long gone.
Excellent. Actually, we're moving back into action mode. So I will kind of catch you guys back up to speed. I think as you kind of begin rising, Allegra, with this retort on your lips, Arwen and Ardeno are looking at you expectantly. Kieran, I think, is the only person within eye shot of you from the Caderak. So, Kieran, what are you doing right now, actually?
I think the last thing I was doing was speaking with Ordo Rem's ghost and gathering his body and thinking that this situation is done. All we need to do is mop up.
You do not, I will tell you this, what is going to become very apparent to all of you is you've made a giant ruckus out of this operation. You basically attacked the facility outright, triggering a number of these Erebast squads to kind of descend on you. You've also triggered the attention of several of the kind of facility workers on the inside. You do not know how much time you have until reinforcements show up, ostensibly because a attack this loud and this noticeable leaves an impact, and it causes a ripple within the current of magic. So take this under consideration as you do undertake your next actions.
Then Kieran, if it is his turn, Kieran will cast a spell. He'll kind of look around him and look for anybody within a medium area of him. Who would that cover?
What is your intent here? Ally, enemy?
I don't want to negatively affect allies.
Okay. I think that pretty much Okras has gone through methodically destroying the torturous wretches as they come through the Hall of the Trunk. So there's not anybody hostile that you can see at this point in time.
So yeah, he takes a step back from Arwen and Ardeno, and casts the spell Nascent Midnight. For one brief moment, I make it midnight in the medium area around me. If it had previously been day, all effects in the area that normally end when the sun sets end immediately. On the round following the spell, any spell with the midnight facet gains +1. Spell is treated if it's cast at midnight. Color is gold. And I think you see this doesn't look like anything you've seen Kieran do before. This is the first time you've actually seen him cast magic. And Maurice sees something very familiar. He sees this kind of pulling out of nothing in the air and seeming to grab onto things. And he wipes his hand over, and in the medium area around, it is midnight.
Excellent. Yeah, you have, there is, that kind of feeling of the darkness bathing you in the absence of its light. And once again, you feel the absence of that light that would impede you, the daylight, go away. You feel that much more effective. So that is your action. Do you have anything else that you need to do?
No one can see his face wrapped up the way it is, and then the red vizard over that. But the camera could see, like in a Tony Stark view, the camera could see him breathe a sigh of relief, and he looks like he's ready to do something.
Excellent. We're going to cut back to the two apostates. You guys have hands on Jeren, who is looking at, I believe, Okras with kind of this look of incredulity and shock. What are you two doing? I'm going to allow you to make your actions in tandem.
Well, I definitely think that Mott wants to bring Jeren back. He failed in killing or capturing Marlowe, but now they have a lead that they didn't before. And his grip on Jeren's shoulder is so tight it's possibly painful for Jeren. And he looks over at Okras and just like there's like a shared like telepathy moment where it's like I was following somebody else, but he just goes, "Oh, I think we're gonna find you a nice bunk back at camp. What do you think, Okras?"
Oh yeah.
So I think you're gonna come with us.
I think that there is almost like a scrabbling at your hand on his shoulder as he's trying to pry it off, but he is finding your grip as tight as it is incredibly hard to shake. and I think he's doing this reflexively. Are either of you taking a particular action? I will also say that Maduin is running past you.
Yeah.
What's he doing with the other hand?
He's
Besides trying to cast bullshit on me.
That is the one that's looking back at you, palm open. The feather has disintegrated. This malevolent feather is no more. There's just a drop of blood in the center of the palm where it used to be. And it's just kind of like there's a nervous tremor to it.
Can I interrupt for a card pull for that spell?
Absolutely, you may.
I was going to say, I have to do one more thing.
Okay. Okay. Ooh, this one might actually fit very well. Savage Sword. War, savagery, strength, violence, brute force. The sword is...
No.
Yeah? What's up?
Oh, nothing. I'll finish your thing, and then I'll tell you exactly what action I was about to take.
All right. There was nothing that could stand before him when the Savage Sword was drawn. Red spells are strengthened. Blue spells are weakened. So go ahead. What are you guys going to do for your actions?
Oh, Okras was just going to methodically break his wrist.
Okay.
And then just basically disable Jeren.
Yeah.
Is he still wearing the armor?
He is wearing his armor. You have destroyed the armor. Incidentally, like when you destroyed the armor, is there anything like under it? Did you already describe this or?
Yeah, so underneath the armor, this is probably the first time people have seen without this kind of ratty, patched up field jacket. Underneath the armor is, in fact, another layer of armor. That's right, baby, I'm an onion. Armor all the way down. There is a inky black kind of almost it looks somewhere in between a breastplate and a vest that is just kind of like it's definitely like vest shaped in the sense that you could slide a hand underneath it if you really needed to for reasons. But it is pure black, and it is close, tight, and form fitting. But so I think other than this, you basically see that is what Okras is wearing now that this silvery like kind of plate has been destroyed.
Yeah, and I think at this rate, I think Ethereal, Baub, and Root are kind of like finally kind of catching up. Ethereal kind of looking at kind of askance at everything. So what are you guys, I'm going to go ahead with, because the Savage Sword was turned, I'm going to say you break it effortlessly. You know how to destroy things. This is trivial, and you hear Jeren howl in pain.
Can I shatter his armor too? Is that a possibility?
Why don't you give me, I will say this, give me a accurate, I'm going to say this is accuracy. Yeah, this is accuracy. Give me, I need two.
I was going to use Leech Reality to rip out the essence of it.
Absolutely. You may certainly do that. I just need you to hit a 6 on your venture twice.
Okay. I believe I have some significant benefits to this, thanks to... So the Savage Sword, does that give me a benefit as well?
Yeah, for red, it will give you a benefit. It gives you +1.
Okay. Wait, that's Forte's ability. Okay. Leech Reality. So it's a +2 benefit. I'm rolling 2 dice, and then I have Red Sun active, so that's a +3. So I need to hit 3 on 2 dice.
Well, here's the thing. What's the level of the ability?
Level 3 ability.
Yeah, you succeed. No need to roll dice, because it gives you an extra anyway. So your venture beats the challenge. You destroy it wholeheartedly. You absorb that power back into yourself.
Okay, so I'm going to expend the sorcery to gain the physicality.
Excellent. Everett, what are you doing?
I see. So Root and Ethereal are coming up to meet us.
Mm-hmm.
I nod over at Okras. You can't see the smile on my face because it's reflecting, I think, the pain of Jeren right now, because that's where Mott's focus is at.
Mm-hmm.
And he just goes, "Take him. I'm trying not to kill him before we can talk to him." And before I release my hand, I sort of like give him a pat on the back, and I use Drain Magic.
Ooh, okay.
To take automatically 2 points of sorcery from him into my pool instead. And you just sort of see this purple aura around my hand as it's patting him. This draining sense of weakness enveloping him before it effuses my own body.
Mm-hmm.
It goes, thanks for the top off, mate.
I
still got some business here. A rendezvous with you.
And yeah, you used to see, I think, Jeren on the verge of passing out, at which point Root looks at him and says, this is probably for the best. And what he does is he picks up Jeren and sticks him into himself Clayface style. His head is sticking out, and he says, I'd say I'm sorry about the smell, but I'm not. And just kind of like begins toting Jeren around, freeing both of you up. Maduin has a run ahead, so I'm assuming that you are running after.
Yeah, before I do that, I turn to Okras like, you won't come with, or you won't go with your new friend?
I'll come with you.
All right, let's move.
Okay.
And I'm gonna monk run.
Excellent.
Speed run to catch up with Maduin.
All right.
Yeah, Okras picks up Clarity and just charges on after. A little bit more indomitable, a little bit less less monk run, more like I'll run through the walls.
So at this point, you are keeping pace with each other. Allegra, you are back up. You are, I think, have kind of risen from this lying down place where you had fallen to have your spiritual battle. What do you do?
Yeah, so I think Allegra collects herself off the floor, and a hand unconsciously flies to the shard of midnight blue broken glass that is around her neck on a delicate chain. And as she holds it, it's fleeting, but if anyone were to look at her, you would see her composure falter for a second, with a mix of irritation, fear, and a kind of nostalgia showing through. But it's gone after that fleeting flash, that brief second, and she scoops Sophenox, who's prone form is still on the floor with her, off the floor, and basically gestures, I think, to her lieutenants, who I'm assuming are still kind of in the general vicinity of her body, and says, let's go this way towards the noise.
Okay. Excellent. So they assist you. When you were talking about the noise, which one are you meaning?
I think she's listening. She wants to listen for like the noise of voices. So hearing the conversation that's been going back and forth between Jeren, Okras, and Mott.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you see the tail end of this interaction where Root has basically imprisoned Jeren inside of his body. Freedom, Ethereal, being a weaver that loves the aggregate, or uses the aggregate of freedom, she's kind of throwing a little bit of side eye at the situation with Root, but doesn't say anything. But you see the other two heading down, and you towards further down the trunk, towards the legs, and you also see Kieran probably looking askance as though he is about to do something. And also you notice it is pitch black in a medium area around him.
So Jeren is currently being held?
Yes, and being transported, as it were, by Root.
Okay. I think at this point, Allegra will probably join Kieran and step into the blackness, or I guess that area. What does she see inside the midnight?
Well, I think I'm gonna take a look at see what the text says again. It's just midnight in this area around me, and I think we're indoors.
Yeah.
So like it's just got that kind of light to it that, you know, the lamps in the room or whatever, it just looks like nighttime. The angles are different.
That's great. I think it doesn't really faze her because she's just stepped out of the noosphere. So it's kind of like she's stepping through different parallel realities, almost one to the next. So she takes that in stride, and she asks you what's been going on.
Great.
Yeah, I will. Why don't you give me a perception roll as well?
Sure. Happy to. That's a 1.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're
I
just.
perceive little. It's dark.
It is dark. It is dark in this indoors environment, but also I think you're just still a little bit rattled by what happened in the noosphere, and I think you're just. This is kind of like representing you taking your time to get your bearings. I think Arwen. Do you have? My question is like Arwen and Ardeno are kind of flanking you on either side. Do you have any additional instructions for them, or are they just accompanying you?
I will have told them to go to Root and Jeren, because it seems to me Allegra does a quick calculation of what looks like is happening here, and seems that Jeren is being held prisoner, in which case additional forces could be useful in terms of making sure he remains such.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, the next thing that happens, I believe, Kieran, you are up again. You hear, I was going to say, I think that do you have an established kind of communique set up for your team of makers? Can they reach you by any means other than shouting?
I have to assume makers made something like that.
Yeah.
We gotta have the magic walkie-talkie thing.
Yeah, I think there's a light on the chevron denoting just above the symbol of your order on your epaulets, and you just hear in your head, we've dealt with the ensuing the incursion of the Airbus squad. Order, sir.
You see Kieran's form kind of straightens up as he's taking a deep breath, and he takes an extra night-only rest action and refreshes his sorcery pool.
Well done. Okay. All right. I see how this is.
I think Allegra can see, just like the light kind of flickers a little bit with this like inhale, and he responds, "Any casualties?"
Well, Jevers ended up getting taking a little bit of shrapnel from one of the Airbast projectiles.
I'll be right there.
He can still walk.
And he looks to Allegra and says, "You don't by chance see the ghost of Ordo Rem?"
No, I can't say that I do.
Well, keep an eye on his body, would you? We need to get it back. And I think what I'd like to do is use my forte ability to like try and get back as close to my squad as possible and see what they're doing out there.
Absolutely. I think you can even say that you have taken your, I would say you can move and see outside of the neck of the Colossus. And if you wanted to use that forte ability to jump, it would be a matter of doing that.
Yeah, I just like, I get an eyesight on them and zip, Nightcrawler there.
Yeah, absolutely. You end up seeing right by there, Abron is shouldering a young man on one side who is limping, but just barely. There seems to be kind of a bleeding wound out of the ankle. And he looks at you and he says, "We gave him what for, huh?" And Abron's like, "All right, less bravado. We need to get moving. Sir, orders. What's our objective?"
Kieran says, collect yourselves. We're going to move. And he points to the legs. I think he can get a good idea that if the rest of the people are moving through the facility, that's where they can move up. And before everyone goes, he gets out his the Testament of Suns and holds it, and he intends to cast an illusion around them.
Excellent.
As they move.
I was going to say you can do that in your next action.
Yep.
Okay. So moving once again back through the action round order, Everett and Okras, you are moving together. What are you doing? Maduin is some distance ahead of you. There is a sharp turn down one of the legs that he is making a beeline for. I'm going to say it's his right, so it's the left leg of this Colossus, which would have been the first one that you saw.
I'm going to cast Crescendo.
Okay.
Are we close enough to give it to Maduin as well?
Let me turn a card. and we'll see how. I'm gonna say the cat is the card that just got played. It's the companion: solitude, curiosity, cleverness, and dexterity. Humans make excellent domesticated companions for cats. Someone important to matters at hand is a misanthrope and lives alone. A cat takes an interest. A trap is sprung by curiosity. An NPC's cleverness gets them into trouble. Huh. Let me see.
I'm not an NPC, and I am, my family's are notions, clocks, cats, and...
All right.
I keep almost saying my secret soul because I have it listed right after that. And I'm just like, no, don't say that.
I am going to say that the meaning of dexterity will allow you to do just that. So you do manage to get Maduin in crescendo. Okay, so remind me, you've cast crescendo. I need to turn another card.
Yes, it is a gold spell with the facet of sound. I have to check each round. Its depletion is 0 to 1.
So what does that give us?
So on rounds 1 and 2, all actions gain +1. On rounds 3 and after, those affected can take 2 actions each round, each with the +1. On rounds 4 and after, all actions gain +2. On round 6 and after, those affected suffer 1 wound per round from the stress of the constant acceleration.
Gotcha.
So what this sounds like is, as Okras is running, I think the whole area begins to fill with this kind of double backbeat of as of 2 hearts.
Excellent. Okay, so the card that I just played is New Beginnings, Insight, Intuition, Foresight, Looking Ahead, Potential Danger. It is the Hidden Moon. We talk a lot about the sun, but the moon has as much influence over our lives. It just does more subtly, quietly. The moon is stealthy. It comes at night. It hides amid the treetops and behind tall buildings. Its light is soft and dim. Its secret ravens books in flame. The ever-changing moon reflects our changing nature, our bodies and our minds. It represents intuition. The moon is present when we feel more than we think. When something just feels right or feels wrong, that might be the moon's influence. It also represents inspiration, a sudden new idea. Okay, so the moon rewards those who can discover its secrets. An NPC has an idea. So basically what is going to happen is at the fork of the at kind of the legs, choosing between the left and the right, Maduin is already starting towards the left. He thinks for a moment, steps back, and you hear a cawing kind of call down the halls. That seems to kind of spiral down each of the kind of the legs, and hearing nothing, he looks back at you expectantly with a wide kind of panicked set of golden eyes. Everett.
Look, he might be here, he might not be here. I thought it was best that we check it out. If you think that it's down the other passageway, then let's go.
Yeah, Maduin, like, not knowing what to do, just, I think starts moving in one direction, and then from that direction you hear, down here! Down here! And then kind of Maduin picks up. Yeah, starts zooming.
Yep. I think Mott's going to put on a burst of speed.
Excellent. Okay. So let me switch back to the main. Okras, you've cast Crescendo. Allegra, you're up. What are you looking for?
Yeah, so Allegra is now, having received that instruction from Kieran, she's actually going to deputize Arwen and Ardeno to, instead of sitting by Jeren, to go get Ordo Rem's body and to carry it out with them, so it's not left behind. So she's now assigned that task to them. She will, however, approach Root and Jeren, and she will cast a spell at Jeren. This is Novinen's Deduction. It's a beta advanced spell, level 4 plus 1 die. I cast this spell on another spellcaster, and if successful, I learn what spells they have prepared or what spells they know if not advance.
Okay.
Color is blue.
Excellent. So I will tell you this. There are a couple things that you immediately learn right off the bat. One thing that you understand almost immediately is that Jeren is a logivore. He can essentially eat knowledge, eat spells where necessary, or eat minds.
She hates that.
Yeah, definitely not a good feeling. But the other thing you notice is that he has a secret that you might be privy to called Idea Thief. Which basically allows him to take an idea straight from somebody's head. Not only is it prepared, it has been used recently.
Aha. All right. That's good to know for my next turn.
Excellent.
She is going to narrow her eyes, though, at him and, like, regards him with a great deal of suspicion and dislike.
Yeah. The other thing you do know about him is he doesn't have many spells, if any, prepared, because he is from the Order of Makers.
Gotcha.
Okay. That will be your turn. Do Ardeno or Arwen have any other standing orders?
No, just get Order of M and then come follow us.
Yeah, they're carrying his body between the two of them. All right.
Do we need another card pull for the spell?
Yeah, absolutely. Good point. Next card pulled. Ooh, the tyrannical clock again. Okay. Oppression, time, countdown, schedule, repetition. We live and die quite literally by time. The pressures of time affects one's goals. Not only must one succeed, it must be done by a certain cutoff time. The tyrannical clock suggests some extraneous oppressive force that compels us with threat or of pain or even death. The compulsion is to keep moving and to do so on a schedule. It might involve repetition or simply a deadline depending on the circumstances. This card turn isn't automatically negative. One can still succeed, but the requirements become harsher and the challenge is greater. Something good or ill approaches, and everyone knows it. A repetitious action figures prominently into important events. The PC moves more quickly than normal. Okay, so you have a feeling, I think, that the hairs on the back of your neck are starting to raise. Actually, okay. Kieran, you are used to having a 13th hour. Between midnight and 1 a.m., there is an extra hour that is viable to Vizsla. Essentially, basically empowering those who have access to it. It is something that is a part of the current of magic. You feel suddenly your stomach lurch within your body as you feel an hour within the world come to an end. Your time is growing shorter. Something
like just today, or like the actuality got 1 hour shorter forever.
The actuality just got 1 hour shorter forever.
Shit.
What?
This is a war that is very strange, and some things happen depending on card turns.
I'm still wearing this. Actually, I think a bunch of my shit turned off. The red vizard. I don't have the full text. I think it probably didn't work because I triggered the midnight thing.
Yeah.
Fuck. So yeah, that's off his face now.
Okay.
Wait, don't you still get?
I'll look it up. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, no. So here's the metaphysical question: does the hour collapse or does it stop existing?
It stops existing.
Because if it's collapsing, then your shit ends. If it stops existing,
Oh no, that not different effect. I made it midnight.
Yeah.
A bunch of spells end at midnight.
You made it midnight. Okay, so your spells don't. The spells that end at midnight, they still end and everything. But you feel. Usually, here's the thing: is it's more of a feeling. There is usually an expectation that you have more time after midnight because you have that extra hour.
Sorry, I was just like two separate things. Like that did just happen, but then I don't know how objects of power work with like. Did the red vizard last till sunset? I don't know.
Yeah. The 13th hour, the hour of mortality, is gone. You feel it. It lurches in your stomach as you can bend time and space. What ends up happening, Allegra, as you feel that, like all of you feel like time is growing shorter. Like you do not know how much time you have left, so you better hurry. Okay, whose turn was it?
I went, then Allegra went.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Okay.
I was pointing to where Allegra is on my screen, which does not help. anybody at all.
Okay, Allegra, did you have any? Did you already take your action?
I think I did. I thought we were at the top of the
Oh shit!
round.
Is it back to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I take my Testament of Suns and I make an illusion in a medium area around me. And this is, I think, before he wanted to do like a disguise everyone as a squad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think based on what he sees around him right now, which is not a lot of chaos or anything, like there's no enemies in sight, he's just going to make it he's going to mimic the magic that was keeping the Colossus obscured. Okay. So anyone looking in just sees, straight through. They're invisible.
Excellent. Okay. So you guys just keep moving towards the leg. This spell has been cast. They are still, one of them is still carrying the mortar with them and all the components. Abron is carrying Javers. So as you are continuing to move towards it, there at first glance, there does not appear to be a route into the leg. But okay. Everett, Okras. Everett, you go first.
Oh, it's not much to be done right now. Mott is just racing alongside Maduin. There's sort of like, I feel like at one point Mott just knows that maybe Maduin can't properly communicate with him right now as they're running, but just says, we don't have a lot of time. So we either find him down here or we don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And he keeps moving. He's moving at a rapid clip, practically flying. And he is going to make use of the crescendo abilities as you kind of move with him. He is going to use that first action to move as far as he can.
He doesn't get the second action until next round. Sorry.
Pardon me. Okay. So in that case, he's just going to keep moving. I think, Everett, you can very quickly outpace him just because of your martial training.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to do that because I'm sort of following his lead here because he's the one that's going to recognize his brother. I am not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I will do one shot because we all heard the person respond in our own language before when we were testing who was where. So it's like, hey, can you hear us?
Yeah, hurry! One of them's moved. We don't know what's happening. Please.
We're coming. Just hang on.
And you suddenly hear the sound of as a fist impacts with a face.
Oh, I think I'm flying now.
Okay.
Now I might give Maduin a nod and like I look behind me and nod at Okras and zoom off with the ring.
Okay, absolutely. You very easily traverse I think the full length of the stairway if you need to. Okay. I'm gonna say that is gonna take your action because it's a full length.
For sure.
Okras, you're up. What's up?
Moving as far as I can and holding my action. Waiting to see whether somebody casts a spell or looks like they're about to cast a spell at any of either Maduin or Mott, and then ostensibly Maduin's brother, if Okras can identify them.
Okay. So you are kind of keeping pace as quickly as you can, keeping both Maduin and Everett in eye shot. I need to refer to some session notes real quick. Just bear with me.
Oh boy.
As I am going to tell you what spell you are going to need to counter. Okay, so let me go ahead to Operation Wow.
I've got some cool shit. Baby Okras.
Okay, so let me see. All right. Okay, I need you to make a Okay, this one's too good. All right. I need you to succeed with 2 dice a level 7 challenge.
So Am I countering this?
You-
Is this a counter?
If you are attempting to counter, it is an incoming spell. What was
I'm
your
actually
intention?
attempting to use a forte ability,
Okay.
which is called Instability of Magic.
Okay.
Everything ends, even magic. And so it is a level 5 gold ability with a +1 dice effect.
Okay.
And then I'm going to throw one of those dice on the floor. Ah, that was smart. I will get a different dice. So do I still need to hit that level 7 on 2 dice?
Yes. So you only need to hit 2. You get +1 to your action, so you only need to hit 1 twice.
I need to hit 1, so don't get zeros.
Yeah.
I would like to just spend a sorcery point to just bump myself to that success.
Absolutely. So what you detect is a mental attack trying to basically intercept Everett. That is kind of what its intention is. What are you going to do for your ability?
So I don't. There's no visible. I don't think there's anything visible to Maduin or Mott, as there is as whatever this spell looked like. If it looked like anything, explodes disastrously as the magic, the weaves of magic, the bonds that hold this spell together, just rapidly. Well, really, all explosions are the extremely rapid entropy and expansion of different molecules. Mm-hmm. So that's happening to magic. And so, can I see the caster?
No, not from your vantage point. It's from somebody at the very bottom of the leg. So that said, you detected the magic, reached out, watched it explode. Remind me, what is the exact text of it? Does it still have an effect?
I might be able to need to. It's not clear. If I hold my action, I can destroy a spell from a nearby caster as it travels to meet its target. I must be able to see the caster, though.
Okay.
So I guess I'm just countering it, which is much less fun.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn a card. I'm going to have to turn 2. The Misremembered Dream is the first card. Confusion, mistakes, change in identity. Game narrative. People are confused about something. An NPC makes a huge mistake. Something strange is occurring in the dreams of multiple people. Events transpire in the deeps of sleep. It suggests confusion or mistakes, but they don't need to be confusion or mistakes of the person in question. We all dream, so this card can... Okay. It might also suggest that one... okay. So, I think what ends up happening is you hear the explosion of the spell, and you hear as something kind of howls in pain after it, and then the scraping of feet on stonework.
Yeah, there's a blinding amount of lights, and the spell targets them instead.
Excellent. Ooh, okay.
That same spell targets the caster instead and blinds them as an additional effect.
And you hear a scream as Everett, something was targeting your mind, and as you kind of felt like this incoming impact, I think as you're flying, you throw your hands up instinctively, and then the impact never comes. You feel, however, the expanding heat of this counterspell, this kind of ability as it explodes something. And now you can see who cast it. Their eyes, their nose, and their ears are all bleeding. What it is that you see is, at first glance, it seems to be a humanoid creature. But like the tear that you guys encountered, there's something off about it. The extremities are too long and too thin. The body too thin again and twig-like. The face drawn into kind of like almost this, and flattened almost into this narrow set of features, all sharp and the eyes staring off disassociatively, blinded by the light that erupted from the passage in front of you. This thing seems to be clad in some sort of administrative uniform that's familiar to you from the Army of Satyrine, but with the light, it's hard for you to refocus and kind of make heads or tails of what it is.
Yeah, I'll say that since I'm flying straight at them for the next round, I'm literally just like flying punch is coming through.
Excellent. Okay, so that's y'all's action. Allegra, you're up.
All right.
Sorry, did you say you wanted 2 card pools?
Yes, that's right. I did say that, didn't I?
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Teacher, you forgot to give us
We're going to
homework.
regret this.
Fleeting moment, lost time, elusiveness, agility, and reaction. Time moves inexorably forward. Sometimes it moves so quickly that we lose track of it. We try to watch, we try to pay attention, and yet it's gone. Mercurially, it slips through our fingers. Time can move so rapidly. In fact, we can lose time. That's exactly what it is.
What just happened?
Yeah, this is the hour that you guys lost. Time passes suddenly and the PC has no memory of it. An NPC foes reacts impossibly fast and avoids an attack or spell. Game narrative. Something strange happens with time, or the perception of time. An NPC escapes from confinement. An elusive figure, perhaps a spirit or a legendary beast, makes a brief appearance. An NPC performs a feat of amazing agility. Blink and it's gone. A moment too quick to perceive, but your whole life is made of such moments. Yeah, I think that this is the disorientation that all of you feel after losing an hour from reality. Yeah, so I think that you are still getting your bearings, Allegra. What are you doing?
So I was going to say, I have a proposition for you, Zach. Allegra now knows that Jeren recently used the Idea Thief's secret. Allegra's bread and butter, as we know, her trade and her forte is about the domination of ideas and understanding how ideas are bound, traded, and subjugated. Mm-hmm. Allegra also has the Idea Thief's secret herself. So, with all of that, Your Honor, my client, can she steal whatever idea that Jeren recently stole from him without knowing the content of that idea by sheer fact that she knows the markers and tells of an inorganic idea and can therefore identify the idea in his mind that is not original to him?
Okay, so what I'm going to tell you is what you need is you are going to need to hit a 6 twice. You're going to be -1 to your venture because of the card that I just drew, Fleeting Moment.
Okay.
So you're going to need to hit a 7 total. What's the level of your ability?
Level of my ability is 7.
Okay. You take the idea, spend the sorcery.
Yes.
And I will tell you this. So it is the content of the idea that you are looking for, right? So you realize that he stole Ordo's knowledge of how to make the machine, the pain engine.
Ooh. Okay. Question. According to this secret, if I succeed at stealing an idea from someone else's mind at that action with their level as the challenge, there is no cost, but if you fail, you cannot try again, and the being knows what you tried to do. If you succeed, you gain the idea and they lose it. It doesn't mean that they can't get it again, but it does mean that it would be gone from him.
Yes, that is exactly what it means. You now have this idea. You now have this knowledge.
Cool. That's great. I'm going to sit on that.
Nicely played. Okay. That is Allegra's action. Kieran, back to the top.
So I think the way the Red Vizard works is that it did end, and Kieran is now approaching this the leg of this thing, and is going to put it on to see, magical auras and active spells, and look for some sort of hidden entrance at the legs of this thing. Then I'm going to roll for depletion.
Excellent. Please do that.
And it does. It depletes. So this is going to be the last. It still works, or it doesn't work? It fizzes.
Still works. It just you can't use it again.
You do have there should be a stat for object depletion as well as.
I just don't know, what happened. Like when you roll it, does it?
Yeah,
does it still happen?
I think there's a lot of things that you say you can recharge it and all that kind of stuff. We will cover that later, right?
Yeah.
In the meantime, things are moving. It
still
quick.
works.
Yeah. So you see a door in the heel of the left foot.
Yes, start steering everyone there and tell everyone to stay frosty. And we're gonna, I think, actually, he's gonna tell. We're gonna get to that door and set up like a, whatever the fuck, a military. Get it set so everyone can exfiltrate.
Excellent. Okay, so they align as they kind of get a beat on the door. They begin setting up the mortar. So that is what they are going to do with their turn. Everett and Okras, you are back up.
Flying punch at the dude that tried it. He fucked around and now he's going to find out.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a attack roll. This person is impaired, so I'm going to give you +2.
That's cool. I got to check something because of the lost hour. Nope, that's still in. And I do think, so remember on strength still up. My secret soul is still active. All right, I just had to check if it was a sunsetting or losing an hour because I rolled for my ring. We're good with that.
Invisible Sun, everybody, the game where when you lose an hour diegetically, it actually can have a mechanical effect.
I just
Huge
checked.
effect.
My Myrmidon strength is also still up.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me.
Oh boy. Okay, yeah, I'm coming in hot for a punch. Yeah, all I got right now is my standard terror strike, so I'm just gonna go in.
Okay. What's the total of your starting venture?
That's right. 1 second, I gotta do math.
I believe in you.
All right, we're at 5. We're gonna start with 5 base.
Okay. So I need you to get 7 twice. So basically, you need to hit 2 twice on your rolls.
Great, I'll use an enhancement then instead of my sortilege, which is almost depleted.
Okay.
No, I got a 9 on one, but a 4 on the other.
No. I mean, you superseded it. It's like you only needed to hit 2 twice.
Okay.
So how much damage do you do as you impact with this creature?
So 2 stars 2 minus 1, 2, 3, and wait, do I have crescendo up to, which gives me bonuses?
Yeah.
You currently have a +1 bonus to everything you do.
Thank you.
Or sorry, a +1 bonus on both actions. You now have 2 actions per turn.
Oh, do I? Great.
Round 3,
Terrific.
baby.
Okay. 9 points of damage,
Okay.
I guess, for my first attack.
All right. Okay, so let me okay, 15. Describe how you, well, wait, no, because this is physical damage. The previous was mental. Go ahead. That's your first attack.
Yeah, I come in, zoom in down that hallway, slam straight into the jaw. And I think what actually happened is, like, I crash in with one hand, but I grab by the collar with the other, and I'm just going to keep zooming as fast as I can right up against the other wall and just shove his head into the paneling.
Okay. All right. So you are shoving this creature into.
Punch first, ask questions later.
Yeah. Okay. So are you intending to make damage, or are you trying to interrogate?
I would love to do. I'm doing blunt force for a reason. If I can get this guy to become unconscious, that would be the best of both worlds.
Okay, so give me. I think that this is going to be raw physicality.
Yeah.
So give me a physicality roll. You still have all your bonuses. Again, you're just going to need
Yeah,
to
I'm just
hit.
gonna pop another one in there. Why not?
Yeah, 2 twice.
22, by the way, and we have 22 more to use. You might as well keep using them.
Excellent.
I can't use a Betty if I use an enhancement.
You can't. Just use one or the other.
Okay, so we'll just do straight enhancements. I'm not joking. One of those is a 1, the other is a 9.
Excellent. So here's the thing. So you only roll 2 dice, right?
Yes.
Okay. Choose your effect. The damage or the do you want to? This is a mixed success because you still needed to get 2 on the other one.
Right.
So my question is, are you trying to do the damage, or are you trying to kind of restrain them? Because that's what's gonna be your choice.
Restrain would be great.
Okay.
Because essentially what Mott wanted here was to sort of render the attacker inert. Unconscious is what he was going for, but restraint is just as good.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you impact this thing against the wall of the Colossus. And this thing is horrible. It has needle-like teeth. And you realize it is, as you kind of see it up close and kind of you have it pushed against the wall, you realize it is wearing a nurse's outfit from the Army of Satyrine.
Nightmare nurse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind you is a bag, kind of like a physician's medical bag. There is something filled with light poking out of it. And not only that, as you kind of turn to kind of take stock of everything, you see that there is an open cage, one of whom with nose bleeding, ears kind of bleeding as well. You recognize a pathwalker.
I just give a shout. Maduin, Okras,
And
I think we've got our people down here.
And that is where, Okras, it's your turn. What do you do?
Narratively, what I'm doing is using my object of power to steal the Nightmare Nurse's voice. So I'm gonna do that. I would say the way this looks is a lot more like a punch to the face. Just add insult to injury, really. Yeah, because I assume Mott has the Nightmare Nurse in hand. Well, you know, one in the hand worth two in the.
I do
US
fuse
fair.
nightmares to fists, so.
Yeah. So
Oh my
Okras is just
God.
kind of like yeah,
How dare
fuck
you.
you. How? Oh my God. That hurts.
Hey, I didn't foresee that happening.
Just turn the monster into a weapon, just punch people with the Nightmare Nurse. I love it. And so I'm going to use the Thief of Voices. So 6 plus 1 dice, and just rip her voice out.
Okay. I need you to, again, even restrained, I need you to hit 7 total, so it's a 6. I think that you're going to need to hit at least 1 twice.
Okay, I have a +1 on my venture from Crescendo, and then I have.
You're good. Yeah, I think you. If the ability level is 6, then you're good.
It's level 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So describe what it looks like when you take this thing's voice.
It literally you just see Okras just kind of like, compared to Mott, just basically just half-hearted, just punch the Nightmare Nurse right up the side of its head. And you watch as when Okras withdraws their fist, the absence of something is ripped out with it.
Yeah.
And then I still have another action. So I would like to. Do the Pathwalkers? There's cages.
There is one large kind of cage in which people are kind of huddled. A couple of people are down on the floor. The Pathwalker that is kind of has been speaking is standing up and looking with. Everybody has a nosebleed or an ear bleed of some sort after they got hit with the kaleidoscope void. So the thing about this is, that's the one person that's standing. There are 2 people that are prone.
All right. Fuck it, I'm gonna cast Crescendo again. I got it for free. The door's open, right?
Well,
Is the cage door open or not?
cage door is open. It seems like you guys caught the nurse in the middle of something.
I want to cast Crescendo to get all the Pathwalkers going again. Here's a question: if I cast the same spell twice, do they operate? It's the same spell twice. It's not concentration rules, right?
So, okay, I'm gonna be a stickler on this. I'm gonna say that you can only have one focusing that you're going on at one time.
Can I cast it again to expand the range of what I'm doing to the other people?
If you've got the sorcery for it, go ahead.
I don't need the sorcery because I just stole her voice. And I can cast any spell with the sound facet for free.
Nice. Well
You
played.
bad lad.
This is in what would be in Magic the Gathering terms broken.
Well,
Yes.
thank you. Wait, my stealing the life out of things to get physicality, which that I can then spend to cast sorcery to then steal the life out of things to get physicality.
Zach's gonna be glad when we go back to our other characters.
What have I done? What have
you
I
won't.
done?
No, you won't. Nope. It's only just begun. So can I just sploop my crescendo out to all of them?
Yeah,
Is
absolutely.
that the technical term?
Yes, you may sploop. Roll to sploop.
I will commence to sploop. Do I need to roll?
No, that was just me playing around. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I can if you'd like. So yeah, I think it's like running into this area, there's the punch, the drag out, and then kind of doubling down. You hear the double backbeat of just this kind of low organic percussive thumping, just continuing at that rapid, but this really rapid pace at this point.
Okay.
That is both my actions.
And yeah, as Allegra, it is now your turn.
Wait, what's Maduin doing though?
Maduin is looking frantically around the cell and doesn't seem to be meeting with any success. Okay. Allegra, what do you do?
Okay. So I think Allegra would, now that she has done that, like to catch up with everyone else. Her action will be to refresh a pool, but as she's on her way to do that, while she's stealing intellectual property, are there any documents, intelligence, secrets, schematics, things of that nature that could potentially be useful to our lovely different organization groups? And could she potentially bring some of this back to Zaleska if she sees it?
Make me a perception roll.
Perfect. Happy to. And I do have a perception bene, yay, that I will add to that. That is a 5 + 1, 6.
Okay. I will say that you don't see anything immediately actionable. This seems to have been, like, I think there is probably a pile of notes that are arranged in a haphazard fashion. There's nothing that you can make of out at first glance. You will have to grab it all.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna take it all.
Okay, so as you grab this pile of paper, you begin hearing a familiar sound, the sound of buzzing of the arabast and surrounding kind of the area through the hole in the neck. And it is at this point that we are going to take our break. Mott, you are staring this thing in the face.
Yeah, the mask is contorting into a like a as close approximation as it can to the Nightmare Nurse's own face. As he's just staring back at her, it's like, lady, I've seen things way worse than you. I wouldn't try it.
So this thing has its hands over your hand as you have pinned it. However, it is going to use one of its abilities. It is going to attempt to do something to you. As it holds your arm, magic is going to surge through its hands. I need you to make a level 7 resistance roll.
Okay.
Does it need to speak to do this?
It does not.
No.
Well,
Actually,
I still have crescendo up for that +1 to it, and I also have an
now.
enhancement. Oh, +2 and an enhancement.
I will say this. I'm actually going to give it -1 because you've pinned it and it's desperate.
Okay.
And it's just coming out of being blind. So you need to hit a 6 twice for your total venture.
8 on one day, 4 on another.
Okay.
Oh no! Wait. With the +2, does the +2 get applied to both dices?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, then we've got a 6 and a 10.
You feel this thing try to change your physiology. As if it was trying, like something, it felt like something was trying to rearrange you and stopped short. And this thing's eyes go frantic.
Someone's already done that to me already. You're a little late. Now, why don't you be good? And we'll get you back to a nice little cell back at the camp. And I won't have to bash your brains in against this nice little colossus you've got here. Are we good? Is that clear?
This thing is snarling and snapping at you animalistically.
You're gonna make this difficult for me, aren't you? I cast emotional inversion.
Okay. What's
It's the thanks to the drain magic, it is all of my sorcery that I have left. I do have an anguish, but I think with the crescendo that basically gets canceled out.
Excellent.
And it's a level 3 spell, and essentially whatever they're feeling right now reverses. So if she's feeling frantic and hateful, she's going to be calm and amenable.
Okay. Excellent.
But tell me if I need to roll for that, because I can.
You need to hit a 6 total, twice.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
You have a +2 from the crescendo and a -1 from the anguish, which totals to a +1.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so I don't even just break even. Amazing.
Okay.
Oh boy, I did not roll well though.
What's the level of the ability?
It's a 3.
Okay. So that would mean you need to hit 2 twice.
Yeah. Oh, thank God for those bonuses, because one of them is indeed going to be a 2.
Okay.
The other is not.
Excellent.
I rolled a 0.
Okay, was that the magic die?
It was not. It was my regular dice.
Okay, so no flux.
But so I mean, it'll be 1
Yeah.
because of the. Thank God we had that crescendo.
Okay. So I'm gonna say it's a mixed success. This thing, I think you realize that you don't have any flux. So basically, weird things don't happen. But you realize, I think that what happens is this thing stares at you, and with its needle-like angler teeth, it just smiles. And I think it smiles as if to kind of fake you out, and it's gonna lunge with one claw. But we're going to rejoin that after we kind of check in on everybody else. What is everybody else doing in narrative mode here? Let's start with Okras, move to Allegra, and then move to Kieran.
Okras is checking to make sure that there are no bonds on any of these, whoever the fuck we're here to rescue, they don't care. But on the Pathwalkers, there's no bonds on the Pathwalkers.
There's nothing that suggests that there were bombs. The thing is that you guys...
Oh, bonds.
No, I think with the cage open, the only thing that's restricting them at this point is, because that would be really bad. That would be like, anyway, but yeah, what was it? There's no bonds to speak of. And not only that, it would seem like everything was, you guys hit this is, I think in terms of rounds, like a little more than a minute has passed from the time that you guys hit the Colossus. So I don't think that they've had time to arrange for anything. So that being said, you do have it seems like the way is clear, but you are beginning to hear the buzz of the Arabast surrounding the facility. Do you take any additional actions?
Yeah, I'm gonna do something stupid. I'm gonna use my ability to that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I am just double checking I actually have the sorcery in order to do this. But I am going. We are trying to get all of these people out, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so despite Okras's best, what's in their hearts of hearts, they are going to not. They're gonna. I'm gonna use all of my remaining physicality, so I'm gonna be dry on everything, y'all. To base you. Over as we watch this exchange between the Reverend Mott and the Nightmare Nurse, Okras just kind of rips a chunk of their essence out of themselves, coalesces it into their fist, and just kind of releases this with this burst of energy, which impacts Mott Maduin and all of the Pathwalkers. All of them now have +2 armor and +2 the resist for the duration of the spell. And the Nightmare Nurse takes 3 damage and suffers -1 to dodge actions.
Okay. So remind me, what's the level of that ability?
That is a level 5 ability. I will be taking a what? Fuck it. I don't have stuff. I'm gonna take Anguish.
Okay. So remind me, where are you at, by the way? Because
Entrance to the cage.
no, I mean health wise.
Oh, I'm actually fucking great. I'm full health. That's the great thing about stealing the essence out of everything else and ripping the reality and just stuffing it into my greedy little face is I'm actually fucking fine.
Okay. Well, in that case, I need to turn 2 cards because of emotional aversion and this ability. So first card is the Questing Knight, which is the Apprentice of Justice, Journey of Vision, Swans, Blades, and Water. Meanings: justice, journey, determination, achieving goals. The apprentice of the Visions family, the Questing Knight is a stalwart and focused individual seeking justice, but over the long term. The quest is long and hard. Success, however, comes to the persistent and the determined. This card suggests that determination is needed for success, but it indicates that such success is within one's grasp, particularly if such a turn of events is just and right. It can also mean that success, still likely, comes only at the end of a long journey. An NPC in need is looking for help to achieve something. Someone has to go on a long journey. An NPC becomes very determined. An NPC succeeds their goal. Nothing stops the knight and their consecrated steed. No journey too long, no quest too difficult keeps them from their goal. So I'm going to say that this is going to be representative of the Pathwalkers. So just because that was previously our ride or die card from the org roll. And I am going to next turn another card to see if something truly wondrous happens. The Messiah, which is the defender of Vision, Swans, Blades, and Water.
Wow, that's both of my houses in a row.
Yeah. Change, salvation, familial love. You have +2 on all of your actions. Remember that. Many fear change. Others embrace it eagerly. Often, not always, but often. The former live happy and satisfying situations while the latter do not. In other words, change is a salvation that not everyone needs. The Messiah is the defender of the Vision's family. She defends by changing the things that threaten or menace. As a defender, the Messiah is particularly concerned with families and the bonds of love that exist there. First and foremost, the Messiah pretends change. The source of the change is almost certainly external to the person in question. More often than not, this is a positive change, and in fact, the worse things are for the person, the more likely that change will be positive. The Messiah can indicate the involvement of a beloved family member, like a parent or sibling. This involvement is not always positive. Something changes drastically. A new leader or other prominent figure emerges. She brings salvation, but at the cost of changing everything in your existence. So this is what I'm going to say this means. Basically, you drew 2 cards. I believe the Messiah was actually also either for Shia before, or it was kind of adjacent to one of the generals. It might have actually been for Zaleska. So what I'm going to say is that with that new ability taking effect, Okras, I think that the Pathwalker in question straightens up, kind of shakes off the this kind of lack of energy, their form being bolstered by the kind of superior amount of reality that you have laced into them, and then looks and says, if you can break through this carcass, I have a way out.
Not a problem.
And unless you have a second action, that's going to be your turn.
So funny you should mention that. Guess who has a second action?
Okay. What you gonna do?
We'll punch a hole right through the side of this motherfucker.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Myrmidon's strength did just fail on me. I did roll depletion on that. I still do a dumb amount of damage. Like a really ridiculous. Here's the other question. What suns are currently in effect?
So the sun's currently in effect. We're at the very end of the journey here, so I believe that this is the pale sun. The card is on the pale sun.
Pale sun. Okay, cool. So I only do 13 damage with my sledgehammer.
I will say this, Kieran, as your men are positioned over the left foot, they have put into place this mortar, and you just hear them say, "All right, ready to fire at will." And then suddenly, boom, the sound of a slamming sledgehammer cracks through the facade of the right leg, as emerging from it, or rather not emerging from it, but behind the sledgehammer, positioned to maximize momentum, you see Okras clad in this black vest, holding clarity.
I'm going to say what happened right before that is Kieran just got finished saying, "All right, everyone get ready to go inside."
Allegra, I believe that brings everything to you.
Yes. So I think Allegra by this point has joined where everyone else is. And I think the only thing she will do as this exit is being created, helpfully by Okras, is she is going to cast a Gamma Vance spell, level 6, Carco's Bound Thought. I take a single secret, fact, or idea and put such potent wards around it that no divination or similar magic can get at it if I do not wish it so. I can have only one such bound thought at a time. Color is invisible. So she is going to put this ward obviously around the idea that she has just taken from Jeren, and holds it for the foreseeable future. There is no check on this. It's just she can hold this in perpetuity, it seems, unless challenged. And yeah, that's lovely, cool little bit of Vance magic, but it means she's now out of Vance spells for the day.
Excellent. Fantastic. Well done. I think that Allegra, as you're kind of moving to rejoin everyone, you hear that solid impact and the sound of you feel the structure shake as the impact radiates out from the right leg. So you have a feeling that you're going to have to make haste to get to rejoin the rest of the crew. That said, we're going to get back to the top of everything. I think that you are beginning to once again hear the buzz of the Erebast. You see, not too far away from your current position, Kieran, one of those apertures begins to open. What do you do?
So Kieran, I think if we go back before the wall blew out, he turns to Abron and says, "Any luck getting word back to headquarters?"
At which point he looks at you and he kind of touches the design on his epaulette, and then he looks at you and says, "What do you want me to say?"
It's time to go.
All right. And he begins having this quiet kind of whispering conversation.
Then we need to find our way inside. Boom! and then Kieran recovers from that and then sees the aperture opening, and kind of barks an order for the mortar team to aim and fire.
Yeah. At which point, they're just but we just are fine. And then they begin turning towards the aperture, spinning and rotating the arcane mortar as they can. Okay.
Can I use a Forte ability?
You may. What are you thinking?
Oh, do we need a card pull for the Bound Thought, the Gamma spell?
I think so.
Yes,
we
you should.
do. Thank you so much for reminding me. This one goes on the Testament. Ooh, this one's a good one too. The Imperator, the Sovereign of Vision, Swans, Blades, and Water. Wisdom in War, Turning Points, Deciding Factors. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes,
double kill, triple kill, overkill.
Sometimes conflict is needed, and the Imperator believes that keeping a level head and using intellect and wisdom rather than rage or brute force paves the path to victory. Of course, not every crisis point lies within a literal battle. Some conflicts take other forms, stressful situations where some are prone to make rash decisions based on emotion, but not the Imperator. Follow his example. The Imperator is the sovereign of the Visions family. He is a leader, an advisor, a teacher, and a mighty warrior. This card represents the crucial turning point, the deciding factor that brings victory or defeat, the crisis point. Generally, the interpretation is that when this card is turned, the person in question must make a very important decision upon which everything that follows now rests. The Imperator also suggests that this choice should be made with consideration and care, not emotion or haste. Events come to a head. Something happens to alter the course of future events, and it could be for the better or the worse. An NPC makes a wise choice in the midst of stress and conflict. A revelation is made of a new deciding factor. Okay, he shall lead us through the gates. The storm of war cannot harm us if we follow his command. Okay. So, the Imperator is now on the Testament of Sons, which means for as long as it is active, you all have +2 to your actions. Which means the full cycle. So what I need from you guys, as you know, this entrance has been made, Everett, you are looking at this thing in the face. Time is of the essence. Your spell seems to have taken a partial effect on it in that it is emotionally inverted, but at the same time, it seems to be relishing the idea of like savoring and fighting this conflict with you. What do you do?
Oh, sorry. Again, I can quickly invoke that ability.
Yes, you may.
The forte ability. I'm taking the extra moment, so saving an action so I can have 2 actions later.
Cool. Excellent. Sounds good.
I think Mott drops his focus on the nurse, just tightens his grip around her to make sure that if they're getting out of here, this creature is coming with them. Mm-hmm. And Mott turns, sees Okras hammering away at the wall. Great, we have our way out. And is looking over at Maduin. He's not here?
And there's just this look of panic. It seems like Maduin is going to start making a beeline back up the stairs, or to go towards the, if you could read this intention, it seems like he's still looking, and has an intention of looking. What do you do?
Maduin, I'm gonna sling the nurse over my shoulder. And I just don't care if she's hitting me in the back. I can take it. And just and with my free hand reach out to Maduin. It's like, we don't have time.
Okay.
I think we can we hear the Arabast?
Yeah. The buzzing is beginning to fill the air.
Listen, we're gonna get overwhelmed. We don't have the numbers. We can't keep looking here. If we stay behind now, we're not gonna be able to get back. Maybe he's not here. Maybe we keep looking for him. You can come with us on the next run.
Make me an interaction roll. You are going to have 1 to your venture. I'm actually going to add 2 because you are on. Do you want to keep adding stuff to this tally that I have running right now? Because I have a +4 going. Awesome. Okay. Oh wait. For interaction rolls? Really? I have a +4 to all of my stuff because of Crescendo and because of the Testament. That's right. So yeah, and at this point it's technically a +3 because of the anguish, but I was counting. Okay. If you want to give me more points, man. No, what was it? 6 is good. 6 is what you need to hit. Great.
So that's a 3 on the dice?
Well, I'm gonna hit it. Exactly.
Okay.
6.
You scoff at these bonuses. Okay. So I will tell you this. I think that he looks at you and there is some resignation right as you feel the Nightmare Nurse try to scrape her talons across your back. I need you to make me I think that this is going to be a dodge roll.
I'm holding on to her. How am I dodging?
Yeah, you're gonna, I would say this would be -1. This might be withstand. I think it's withstand. Okay.
Yeah, I can do withstand.
Yeah, cool.
Just a reminder, you have bonus armor and let me pull it up, and I believe it's resist.
Rack it up, baby.
Because
I got that +4 already.
Yeah, you have +2 armor and +2 resist.
2 +4. So I've already got 6.
I think resist is separate.
Resist is a skill. A resist is separate from withstand, but you do have +2 armor.
So that's still 6 because of the crescendo and the testament. It just adds to everything that I do.
Yeah. So, yeah.
For an 11.
Okay. So I think what happens is she tries to rake her claws down your back as you kind of turn. But I think that the adrenaline is just too much. I think that between that and between crescendo and all of the magic that is in play, you are able to ignore this.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
I felt worse.
Yeah. And so, I think that Maduin, giving up is going to take your advice. The Pathwalker, Maduin is going to move into the cage and pick up a body. And the Pathwalker is kind of taking a look and kind of defending himself, but seeing this form is different from what you've encountered before. Sorry. No, just as I see that and I see that he's relenting, I turn my attention to the Pathwalker that's there. Mm-hmm.
What's your name?
I'm Agriel.
Agriel, good. Tell me, have you seen another prisoner? Sort of like my friend over here, but maybe more like you would think of them on the field.
And he looks and he says, I've seen several of them. They have looked kind of akin to your friend, but they were moved. I do not know how long ago. It's been a while, at least maybe a day, maybe 2.
We've got time for a full debrief back at the camp, and we'll get to the bottom of it. Yeah.
And
no worries.
And he looks. He says, "Grab the bag. I'm going to need both hands."
I swing down and I take it with my free hand.
Okay.
I'm full up. I've got everything now.
Okay. You got. All right.
I've got the nurse. I've got the bag.
Okay. So yeah.
I can still fly though.
Oh, true. Oh shit.
So I'm gonna nod over at Okras, like, we getting out of here?
Yeah, Okras, you're up.
After you. And Okras is going to just kind of make it's fully, this hole is fully opened in the side of this thing's leg, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You may describe how you've bludgeoned this hole open, how big it is.
I think it was like one big strike followed by 2 smaller strikes to just open up this space. It's a pretty big chunk. We're in the body of a dead god. Fuck it, he's got space, or it's got space. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Okras just kind of lets Mott do their thing and is going to zoop down after.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly on out while I'm holding my cargo. I'm scanning the ground to look for Kieran and Allegra for a rendezvous.
Yeah. I think Allegra's behind you, but she'll come out after, yeah.
Okras is issuing the path, like basically telling the path, playing flight attendant, down the slide, down the emergency slide. We've come to our landing. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just like, come on, we're going.
At which point, I think it goes back. Allegra, is there any additional actions that you are taking other than to keep pace with them?
No, I think she just kind of strides out. In one hand, she's got Sophanox. In another, she's just got piles of papers that she managed to rescue. And she's shepherding her lieutenants out as well.
Excellent. And I think that you see the Pathwalker moving into the kind of like the forefront here to the best of their ability. And he begins forming this shape with his hands. And where the negative space between the fingers forms, you see a door begin to form in the air around you. And he says, I'm going to hold this for as long as possible. Open the door. It's going to lead to as close to the HQ as we can muster. And I need to turn a card to see if anything happens.
Oh boy.
Okay. Okay.
That dude also has +2 to his actions and 2 actions.
Excellent. Forbidden Game has just been pulled. Strengthening blue, weakening red. Meanings, danger, intellect, strategy, and balance. The game isn't like life. It's better. It's more realistic. All right. Okay. The PCs use it in two factors at play. Let's see. A leader uses elaborate plans to get what they want. A military leader develops intricate strategies as they prepare their soldiers. People are engaged in some kind of game or sport. Weavers playing the spider's game become important to the matters at hand. Okay. There is a threat here, but one that can be overcome with cleverness and strategy. This cleverness needs to take into account the balance of all involved factors, which can be daunting, as sometimes those factors are difficult to see. Okay. So this is a game. And this is what I'm going to tell you, is that as the door opens, that is when you begin hearing the sound of salvos trying to mark for your position. A great deal of ballistic weaponry of some sort, or projectile weaponry begins firing upon your placement. The mortar round has been turned. At this point, all of the people that can be mustered together are mustered. I think Ethereal and Root are nowhere to be seen. They have probably made their own manner of egress away, as far as you can tell. However, you guys are carrying Wounded. You are carrying Ardeno. You are carrying Arwen with you. And not only that, this Pathwalker is moving to hold this spell and keep it open. So my question is what do you guys do to defend them as they take fire and the makers begin kind of returning fire to the Erebast? What precautions, what manner of special actions do you take as things begin getting hairy?
Do I see the body of Ordo Rem, Ardeno and Arwen have it?
Yeah,
Yes,
the Ardeno and Arwen.
they are carrying it.
Man, I'm completely tapped out.
Yeah, I am literally 100% dry outside of objects of power.
I mean,
Zach, I hate that whole phrase, Bill. And
I got the sorcery. I'm gonna time stop again.
Okay.
As one does.
All right.
Really? Why not?
Okay, so let me.
I forgot that we could just refuse to play the game.
Yeah, that's right.
I forgot there was an
Sorry.
option.
So I'm going to record some things real quick. We are
in round 6 now.
right.
Okay.
We are entering round 6, which means we will begin taking wounds if we want me to maintain the crescendo.
Okay. So guys, I'm gonna just tell you right now. What is the level of your ability, Kieran?
10.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. All right. So I am counting the number of factors that you guys have. You have Arwind and you have Ardeno. You have 3 people that are being moved along with the Pathwalker. You have Sophanox and you have the Nightmare Nurse, all in your custody along with the objectives. So you're at 8.
And Jeren?
And Jeren has been made off by a different path.
Okay.
So here's the thing, is we're at 8. With a level 10 ability, you are going to be able to stop and affect everybody. That is what I'm going to say, is because the level of the spell beats the challenge, you're going to be fine for now. And even if I add Maduin as 1, you're still going to exceed the challenge. So everybody manages to get within the time stop ability. You see,
Yeah, the projectiles just zip.
exactly. They're literally just stopping in a field around you. They seem to be moving at an imperceptibly slow rate.
Kieran turns to Abron and says, "You can cancel that extract."
And Braun, with a massive smile on his face, taps the epaulette and says, "Negative. Extraction not necessary. We're coming home." And
They're gonna get that like 2 minutes after we arrive into headquarters.
It sounds horrible and distorted.
yeah, exactly. The door is open. All of you can fly through.
Let's go.
All right.
Fuck.
Mott is absolutely gonna wait until he sees Maduin go through that door.
And
Yeah,
I see you.
Okras will wait till the very end as well.
Oh yeah. So I think Kieran will probably be third to last, and he's standing there, and you hear like the crunch of like leather as he grips his like doctor's bag tightly, like he's waiting for the bus, and then goes to the door.
Yeah. I think Allegra makes sure her lieutenants go in before she does.
excellent. Okay.
And all of the last gasp is already gone, right? They've already scarpered.
Yeah, Ethereal and Root made their own way out. Ethereal probably being the best asset for this sort of extraction. So with that being said, I'm pausing our combat music here. And I will tell you this, as you guys move through the portal, reality shifts, time changes, perceptions change, and you find yourselves once again sitting in a parlor. Kyrrie, Maurice, Gavriel, and Twigg, all looking at each other as you once again hear the voice, a little bit more distinct, resounding through your mind. This marks the conclusion of Operation Lowell. Please prepare for the commencement of the simulacrum of Operation Tiberian. Please note, as this simulacrum requires more arcane resources, this time may span several minutes. There's something about the voice, Kyrrie. It kind of, I think, triggers something in you. But I think that it's a matter of discombobulation as all of you find yourselves back in your rightful bodies, looking through rightful eyes. What do you do?
I think Maurice speaks up rather quickly, and he says, the hole in the world, or a hole in the world. That's what Kieran saw. Something about this. It's what the Vance were talking about. I can't put it together, but Kieran stopped the end of the world, or a end of the world.
Kyrie's going to think about that for a minute, and then she's going to speak up. In the prelude to this book, there was mention of the warden of the Indigo Sun, Quinn King Quiss. As though at the time that this text was written, that warden was still with us, that the Indigo Sun had a warden. What happened? Where have they gone? And does it have something to do with this hole in the world? More holes in the world? It's all such a puzzle. And I feel like the solution is right there. We just can't grasp it.
Gav is just slumped down, like has slid from the wall, like down, and has her knees up and her hands over her head, and she is visibly like 1,000 yards staring.
Maurice glances between Twigg and Gav and says, "Did anybody else see something that they'd like to share?"
Twigg is kind of slumped in this overly upholstered armchair and is you watch them try to raise their hand and it kind of sticks to the substance, and you watch as the upholstery kind of gets dragged with them, and just kind of like almost like it's attached to them or they're attached to it, like that the skin and the fabric is connected, and just whoever that is with my body talk to me, which is fucking weird. And I think Maurice, you would probably notice that Twigg is bleeding profusely from the nose. There is a heavy nosebleed
in the animus space.
And their eyes are a pretty bright shade of red right now. I don't know what's going on, but this hurts. This hurts a lot.
Well, it's pretty clear that you're connected. I'm not quite sure still why I'm connected to Kieran. He's talked to me once, or whoever I was, and he looks at Gav and says, "Any clue why you're following whoever you're following?"
I have no idea. In fact, it would seem I'm following the wrong people entirely. And she raises her head. But I think I have an answer about why this might finally be familiar. And she's cast, I'm assuming in this free animus space, we can cast whatever we like.
You may.
And she casts Eye of Amanus. And you see, finally with the understanding of everything else that we've seen, an Arabast.
Maurice stands and slowly puts a hand on the shoulder of this Arabast.
I will also say that the times when the Eye of Amanus was invoked, when you saw it, it was feral and very much almost kind of like I would say it's fairly exaggerated in some regards with regards to the bestial features of it. More severe, more frightening. I think, unless I'm taking liberties here, I think that the manifestation is more placid and calm. The feathers, I think, a different color even. Those eyes of gold instead of black reflected.
Yes, it used to be very feral, and then, if I recall correctly, when we fought the actual hate cyst, in my response to it trying to get to me, my form changed into the more proper form.
Yeah, and that was the thing, was the feathers kind of almost armoring the void in your chest where the halo sits. Yeah, absolutely. And I think what the newest addition is actually that golden sheen to the eye, even if it is just in a pool of black, that ring of gold pokes out.
Do you accept Maurice's hand?
I think as you touch her, the form fades back into the Gavriel that you recognize, but that feathered hair is always remaining.
And he says, "Oh, don't change on my account. You look beautiful."
Touching her with the weird tentacle arm.
No.
She wouldn't mind. This reality, whatever it is, it wasn't for me. That's why we could never find anyone that's connected to me. That's why there were no memories. That's why that was nothing, because the people here took it.
Maurice glances back at Kyrrie
You're a pathwalker too, Gav. Remember? You saw Yulia called you a pathwalker.
I am both of these things. If that is what this vision is leading me to believe, I am an Arabast and a pathwalker.
And Maurice, is beaming and says, "Don't you see? Your past wasn't taken away from you. It's right here. This is who you are."
And Wiesle came and tried to manipulate half of my people. She is holding on to her Star of David now so much that there is blood that is dripping from between her fingers. I think I understand a lot more.
And Maurice is okay with this anger and kind of just sits with it and keeps eye contact with her.
I want to know what happened. Do you hear me? She springs up onto her feet and she pounds on the door. I want to see how it ends.
Maurice says, "I'm sure it's going to happen soon enough. Just everyone, we'll see you when it's over."
Operation Tiberian Addendum commencing in 3, 2,
Oh, come on.
1. And once again, your perspective shifts back into the perspectives, the points of view of the Caderak. However, there are a number of what appear to be expository statements that you overhear as this reality changes again. Addendum, supplementary. Regarding the fates of Jeren the Jeren, otherwise known as Corporal Jeren, otherwise known as Jeren the Devoured. And the scene shifts. And I think that there is a moment where, Okras, you are staring in the face of General Nehaeron. And he is looking at you. All operational intelligence from this target has been extracted. And he represents a liability.
I know how to clean up my own messes.
And there is a hint of something in Nehaeron's voice. If you would like, with all of your pools refreshed, you may make an interaction roll.
Holy shit, y'all, I'm so low on everything. Question, do I still have an anguish?
I don't think at this point, no.
Okay. I may make an interaction. I will use my solitary interaction, Bene, on this. That's a 4 + 1 for 5.
There is a hint of something in Nehaeron's voice. And as you begin marching Jeren outside of the HQ tent into the barren waste of Upper Taver's Wood, you realize with some degree of some feeling that the emotion that registers most in Nehaeron's voice is disappointment. And as you are leading out Jeren is bargaining with you. You don't understand. We should be on the same side. That feather, it means that you're part. please, there's so much more I can do to help. I can infiltrate. I can act as a mole of some sort. I can help you.
You have no idea what you think, what you even think you know. I guarantee you're wrong.
But you're Logivore, I can tell. We should be friends. We should be friends. And I think he's turning to face you and begging.
I don't do friends.
And in quick succession, the memory reasserts itself in its proper order. Twigg, sitting in the simulacrum, you recognize that moment from long ago. That moment that you ended Jeren. But I think that with that hostility, with that anger, that sense of betrayal, maybe you felt like he didn't deserve a new beginning.
Nope.
The blade is drawn across Jeren's throat, and he crumples, and the vision fades. Conclusory. Jeren would eventually be resurrected through some other means and acquire a reputation as a prodigious idea thief throughout Indigo without the benefit of any of his previous wartime experience. Addenda concluded. So, this is where we're going to kind of abstract some things. I want to know, what is the first thing that each one of you did to best prepare or to, and I think what we can do is even see them as scenes, conclusory, for how each of you approached the end of Operation Lowell. And we will start in our normal kind of initiative order here. Everett, upon the conclusion of Operation Lowell, the securing of the Nightmare Nurse as a objective, as well as the defense of the Pathwalker prisoner, what did you do?
I think, well, the first thing that he would always do is see General Chaya.
Okay.
Probably with Maduin at his side. Relaying to Maduin maybe on the way that the other imprisoned Pathwalker had definitely seen some Erebas that were moved. So there is a location for us to draw on. It wasn't in vain to have gone.
Excellent. So I will tell you, in addition to the intelligence that you relay, the Pathwalker prisoner relays the following to all of you in turn, and to the generals, which is that basically the captives were being kept for their special abilities and studied by the creature that was wearing Ordo Rem. And the one thing that they surmised was that Pathwalkers were of particular importance to their effort, as they could traverse all of the actuality at a moment's breadth, essentially giving them a even more bolstered invasionary force by allowing them to traverse the whole of the actuality. As this knowledge was circulated, at some point after the operation, Shia began to speak privately with several of the generals about what operation to undertake next. And we're going to move from there. Okras, aside from this execution, what was the first thing that you did after this operation concluded?
Okras annihilates the body using their abilities. And here's a question for you, Zach. I don't know exactly how one would go about doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But if one wanted to contact the Empress of the Pale, how would one go about doing that?
It just so happens that General Nehaeron makes contact with Empress Shalad upon the end of Operation Lowell. And I believe it is kind of a situation in which your pay grade doesn't go that high. If it's something that you broached to anybody else, perhaps what ended up happening was General Nehaeron got wind, and General Nehaeron took it upon himself. But essentially, oftentimes, Empress Shalad is not one to be called upon. She calls upon you. The Pale bureaucracy is not something to be trifled with or summoned at a whim.
Fair. Okras is going to, if not that, then Okras is going to get all of the last gasp and one by one interrogate each and every one of them. Probably calling upon some abilities that they don't use very often.
Okay.
To get a closer look at what's going on in their heads.
Roll me an intellect, or an interaction.
I already spent my one interaction, Bene. Let's spend the one intellect, Bene.
Okay.
That'll be a 3.
All of them, as far as you can tell, all of them, I think, are resigned to something. Which is, they are resigned that this is the end. And as if to coincide with this, you guys hear some pretty important news, which we will cover later. Kieran, what do you do upon the conclusion of your sortie?
Kieran attends to the body of Ordo Rem and continues to try to communicate with Ordo Rem's ghost.
And Ordo is very much accommodating in this fact. After some work by General Kazan, Ordo is resurrected.
I think Kieran, was Kieran able to, was the ghost visible and coherent the whole time?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Kieran is what do you remember? Did you know that you were possessed? Why aren't you in the Pale?
And he looks at you and he says, I have learned some, and you realize that as he's been regenerated, a lot of the damage to his hearing has been undone. And he says to you, I have been dead several times beforehand. I'm rather prodigious at escaping her grasp. However, I realized that I was under control not very long after the acquisition of the specimen, but by then it was too late. Whoever this Marlowe is, he managed to control every part of me to the point where I've broken my oath.
Kieran pauses on this for a moment and said, "You were remarkably coherent for a ghost. All the ones I've seen were delusional, insane. You seem to remember everything."
Well, being a Vizsla and having been dead several times, I've found it within my power to accommodate such drastic changes.
And why didn't you go to the Pale?
It was insidious, this magic that Marlowe used. It's as if he'd thought of everything. I was alive until Marlowe decided that I no longer needed to be, which I believe was when your associate terrified me into flight. You see, it's more of an instinct that gets triggered, and by that moment it only took a few seconds for Marlowe to realize that my possession was incomplete. My possession was no longer necessary, that I represented a risk.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
You said you've died several times.
I suspect this might be the last.
Have you ever not wanted to come back?
Every time. I think that's managed to, but at the same time, my duty is imperative. So I have forced myself, through force of will, really, to return.
I would very much like to learn that force of will.
Well, seeing as, for all intents and purposes, I am a non, I might as well teach you what little I know. And he begins your training into the secrets of the Pale. Allegra, what do you do once the operation is concluded?
Right. We're going to do this a little differently. This is very much a scene that we find Allegra in. It is late into the night. It is quiet, eerily so. The night is holding its breath. Around Allegra is strewn a variety of scientific equipment, bubbling beakers in various colors, a scattered array of various metal and magic alloys, intricate equipment crackling with conceptual energy. We are once again in Lastra's practical lab of applied magic on the Vancian campus. There, little one. Hush, she says. On the table is Sophinox, bound in crude restraints of hemp rope, wings spread-eagled. Shh, everything is going to be all right, she croons to him. She approaches him. Her touch on his glossy feathers is gentle, but probing. He croaks in alarm. She feels under his wing, right at the point where the wing connects to his body, for something that she already knows is there. Click. Sophinox's eyes lose their light, their animation. They go dark. His wings freeze in place, and he no longer struggles. Just a few routine optimizations, pet. You took such a hit, I'm afraid I have no choice but repair and hard reset. Her voice is clinical and brusque. Back on in a moment. Allegra moves with the precision of a surgeon and puts a sharp tool to his breast. His eyes are open, glassy and unseeing, but she doesn't hesitate and makes the incision. She knows he will not remember this. Each time he springs back to the life, he is the same, a raven in his prime with a sharp gaze and power in his wing beats. Her closest companion, her dearest friend. She smiles to herself as she remembers him nuzzling affectionately into her neck as she pops his left wing out of its socket and reaches inside.
Excellent. Note that scene. Okay. After some time. Yeah.
For everybody watching this, fuck!
After some time, I believe Shia approaches you, Mott. And this is, you realize, has been following several very quiet meetings between the rest of the generals, the now non-Ordo Rem, as well as several meetings with the remaining Pathwalkers. And she calls you into her tent, once again, heavily with child. And she looks to you and she says, I cannot thank you enough for what you discovered. And for what you did to do your best to help Maduin.
Well, that's all well and good, but we have to leave. Is what we have to do. Well, we have to get out of here. Essentially, the war's over for me, for you, for Maduin. He starts to roam around the tent, grabbing a bag and like actually putting things in it, actively, with this nervous energy, which is offset by the calmness on the mask. You can't stay here. No, you can't. Marlowe's back. Should have seen that one coming. I didn't. But you're not safe here. You're not safe anywhere. Whatever his new tricks are, he can get to you in places that I can't foresee. And you need to take Maduin, and you need to leave.
She puts a hand on your wrist.
Don't.
And she says, we are leaving. In time. When everybody can leave. No, because that's the tone of voice you have when you're about to send me off onto the field again, and I can't be with you. So, I am ostensibly your bodyguard, and if I'm not with you, I can't do my job properly. So you need to let me do my job for once, and I need to be insubordinate, so you can punish me later if you want to. You can court-martial me if you'd like when all of this is over, but we can't stay here. Reality, it will sort itself out. There's very capable people. Okras, Kieran, Allegra, all of them are smarter than I am, and I'm sure they could handle this. They can handle this without me. What we need to do is get you and your child out of here, because how has no one questioned this yet? Everett, because only I can do this. Everett, you will protect me. To the very last moment, you will be by my side, because I'm going to need you here. I can't continue to try to move the Pathwalkers out piecemeal, as all of them. The more we try to move, the more people we try to save, the more die, the more we lose. So, I am going to move them all at once. I'm going
to the Grey? All of them?
Better than the Grey. To a place no one will ever find them. Everett, I'm making a deal. Hear me out.
Am I going with you in this place that no one's going to find us?
I hope so. You're one of my closest friends, Everett. And I could not have survived this long without your help. And she gestures, we could not have survived this long. And she says, I have called an angel. And with the help of the other generals, in this colloquy, it let us know its price. It wants something that all of us will have to work together to summon, but it's going to be up to the Caderak to protect us.
What does it want?
An artifact, something from within it. We are going to... The Unknowable Angel will safeguard all of the Pathwalkers, and all of Upper Taverswood. But in return, we will need to procure something that it has wanted for a very long time. An artifact of creation that we can only find within the Black Cube. It's up to me to summon it. And you will need to protect us while we do this. And we fade to black here as the importance of this mission takes on a full weight on your mask, as I think there is this calm placidity. But before we end for the night, the very next day, Kieran, you are greeted by a very welcome or unwelcome sight outside of the tent of the Makers. The Spider Prince.
Kieran sneers and says, "Your Highness."
Well, it's good to see you too, my friend. I am afraid we won't be having to deal with the council for any longer.
I'm finished listening to you. We are not anything. My business with the council is my own.
I'm afraid that business will go unconcluded. The council has fallen.
Yeah, I think that's a break right there.
And padding up to his side is Legend. And he says, and I'm going to do my best to help see us through this. And that is where we are going to end.
Shut up! Shut up!
What now?
I have a couple theories that are coming together here, folks.
I have a bottle of tequila.
We all have our ways of coping.
Real quick. My other idea of something to do was to go straight to the Marquess Quarter and talk to the council.
Yeah,
Could I have?
you could have.
Oh!
But here's the
Jesus.
thing. Depending on what I turned, you might have been at different stages of when you encountered the council.
Oh, it might have been too late. Oh.
You might have walked in on the council not counseling anymore.
Yeah.
So effectively, like, the leaders of the city are gone.
You
Or
are
corrupted. One of the two.
Or dead.
It's all come
Who knows?
together now.
as far as you guys can tell, you guys are now the lone force of the Army of Satyrine operating out of Upper Taverswood.
That's a problem. How many people are on this council?
There, I believe, were a council of 13.
Minus, yeah.
Okay. So, guys, well done. First off, thanks so much. We have just hit almost 7:30. So, recaps. Everett, joy, despair, character arcs.
Yikes on bikes. From Gavriel's perspective, this is very interesting because she is now seeing the full picture. But I can't give her anything but despair. Even though this is what she kind of asked for, she was not ready for. She could not handle the truth. In fact, I don't think. I think she's falling apart just a little bit. Yeah, and she doesn't quite understand why she's following Mott and not her mother or her father. It's all very confusing, and there's just this dread that's sitting in the center of her through all of this now that this other news has come out.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So take 1 despair. I think take 2 acumen for successfully deposing the nightmare nurse. I will say...
No problem.
Did you also complete any character arcs? Anything of that nature?
For Mott or for Gav?
Either or, whichever
Because
you
honestly,
feel.
the whole war report is completing her first arc.
Okay, cool. In that case, mark an extra acumen for representing a step within the arc.
Okay, so just 3. I was holding that information until the end, but I can do it in increments now if you would rather me do that.
Well, you know what? We'll wait until the end then.
Okay, so I'll just say 2 for now.
Cool.
It's all going to come out in the wash anyway.
Excellent. Kieran, joy, despair, character arcs.
So I've been doing this through Maurice, and I think Maurice is going to take a despair for 2 reasons. One, seeing everyone in the Animus, seeing Twigg not doing so well, seeing Gav, enraged to a point where maybe she's not thinking clearly, and as well as I think both he and Kieran shared an incredible desire to talk to the council, and I think Maurice is really disappointed that he's not going to get any other perspective other than this alt Maurice. He's going to have to believe what his past self says, and he's not cool with that.
Totally fair. So mark that, and mark 2 acumen also for I think I almost want to give it for just looking kind of soldiering on after the sledgehammer knocking out the one wall. So yeah, take 2 for really great character work. Okras, joy, despair, character arcs.
Well, first off, hashtag sorry, not sorry for that. I don't believe I've really fully finished Twigg's character arc. Okras's character arc is real. They're just here to break shit. Awesome. They're just here to break shit and have fun.
Exactly. That's all we can hope for.
Like that one song says. What is it? Isn't that the fucking Limp Bizkit song?
What, keep rolling? Oh no.
No. Maybe it's I think it's Limp Bizkit that I'm thinking of.
Oh, I know.
Anyways,
fine. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Smash stuff.
Yeah.
I forget. Anyways,
Break something.
Yeah.
Okras is having a great old time. Jeren's get fucked, but at the end of the day, you can't rely on anybody. Just another end to a sad little story. At least Okras thinks that. And Twigg is dying, so this sucks.
Yeah.
You know what it's like being eaten and also eating? Twigg is like pineapple in the mouth. It's consuming it. Oh, everything's this is hell. This is hell. That, Your Honor, is my full statement. Thank you.
So 1 despair, and I'm gonna say 2 acumen for fulfilling the prophecy set about way early in the series that Jeren would die by your hands.
Yelp.
And finally, Allegra, joy, despair, acumen.
Well, I think Kyrrie gets a despair here because after the thrill and the resulting joy last session of seeing her father for the first time, the interaction that she witnessed between Allegra and Adrian Belgrave von Hollingsworth was uncannily familiar in a lot of ways. Their rapport is almost identical to her own relationship to present-day Allegra, except in reverse. So Kyrrie is not sure how to feel about the deepening complexity of her sister that seems to be emerging here. That the Allegra of the present day, as Kyrrie knows, can be intimidating and arch and aloof, but the history that's alluded to is that Allegra was herself groomed in that way by their father, and that she resisted becoming a carbon copy of him in some respects by modulating his influence with the implied memory of their mother, who was a whole deal softer by the sound of it. And in that case, can Allegra really help the way that she is? And on the other hand, did Allegra really resist her father's influence? Or did some part of her actually enjoy that rapport, becoming his protege and all the rest of it? I think for Kyrrie, there's a knot in the pit of her stomach that she's seen all of this before, refracted in some ways in her own life, not just in relation to Allegra, but her own relationship to King Nine, for instance.
As there if not through a mirror darkly?
Oh, yeah, something like that. Is there not a part of her that enjoys going toe-to-toe with King Nine, the mirror creatures, et cetera, exerting her will in that way? And if that's true, she's thinking now of Allegra's steady hand, her clinical neutrality as she's disassembling her closest companion without a second thought. Was Allegra like her once? Did Allegra's potential resistance even matter if, to Kyrrie in the present, Allegra is the same manipulative force that Adrian was to her? And what does that mean for Kyrrie? So ultimately, I think what comes out of that is despair. And I also think Allegra moves along in her character arc by 1. And so we'll take an acumen for that. But isn't quite at the climax yet.
And Mark 2 for also safeguarding the idea from Jeren, and not only that, but warding it so that no one else may have that idea. So well done, everybody. And now we're going to go back around the table once more as we do shout outs and plugs. Marcy, any shout outs or plugs this week?
I do. So if you're not sick of a few of us yet, shall we say, you could always tune in back on Manapod Studios this Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time as Hopper continues to lead Zach and I and many of our other standard flights of fandom cast through a romp through Mass Effect. It'll be our second episode, so you can still catch the VOD of the first one if you missed it, and I think you can actually catch the first one-shot that inspired the whole flight on YouTube now. It's great. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see what happens. We're absolutely unhinged in it, so if you really want a good time, that is the complete opposite energy of the angst and the drama. I cannot recommend it enough.
Excellent. Awesome. Bill, any shout outs or plugs this week?
I'll hit the old standbys. Jeff Stormer has 2 great podcasts. Party of One, which is where I learn about all the indie games that I would never, ever hear of if I didn't listen to it, and All My Fantasy Children with Aaron Catano Saez. And also a friend of the show, Encounter Party. Do check that out. Actual play set in Magic the Gathering. Wonderful production, and they got new stuff coming soon that's going to be really exciting, brand new campaigns. Stay tuned.
Excellent. Hopper, any shout outs or plugs this week?
Besides all the various things I'll be shepherding around on Tuesday nights, I saw you cowards, you don't want to do it, I'll do it. I'm GMing that Flights of Fandom flight for this month. Other than that, I think we already covered all of our regular basics. You know what? I played a bunch of Microscope recently, so shout out to the game Microscope. That shit's awesome. Also, I bought 8 copies now, so I think I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to remember the name of the creator. I'm pretty sure he owns a portion of my soul. But great storytelling game. If you like games, if you like a good cooperative storytelling game, check it out.
Awesome. And finally, Marissa, shout outs, plugs.
Just a couple. So one, another standby, as we're moving into the final operation of the war report here, all of the first arc of The Hole in the World is available on our YouTube channel. So if you want to see these crazy kids land in Satyrine from the very beginning, you can check out that playlist, which has the full arc of our first part of our campaign there for you to watch and for your viewing pleasure. And second, I will again plug, I am a writer and lead editor on an in-development TTRPG RPG project called Omens Rising. It's a cool science fantasy JRPG inspired system that emphasizes belonging, autonomy, and purpose. That's just started early alpha testing. So our crew is currently on at Wandering DM's channel on Saturdays at 9 p.m. And basically just talking through, early stages of mechanics development, as well as playing out some early bits of a kind of proto campaign to kind of give people a look at what it's all about. So check that out, as well as Omens Rising on Twitter. And I'm also pleased to say that beginning in June, I will be on one of the alpha tests, and that will be on Monday nights at 8 p.m. on the Hype Goblins channel. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. And it would be great to see you there.
Awesome. And for my own part, I am going to shout out some people that were in chat or kind of lurking in the background here. So first off, big shout out to Legendary Action Official. I see you guys. Not Yosefsa 7. Also wanted to throw a shout out to Fesnerax, who was recently in our happy hour stream on Wednesday. And finally, I think, who else? Makashi 1, who was in a little bit earlier tonight. So thanks guys for joining us. Also shout out to all of the wonderful shows that we've got coming up. We are going to have some really fun stuff coming from Flights of Fandom, in addition to our Mass Effect flight. We also have, I think, the Book of Bretheda is still playing, and that's a Starfinder stream that is happening every weekend, every other weekend, and that is being run by Mark Beccaro, who is our awesome Starfinder GM. Krifu is doing a one solo playthrough through some Pathfinder stuff. And also, towards the end of May, I believe both Mark and Krifu will be doing a Vampire 5e series coming up, I think, towards the end of May. It's going to be super fantastic. We're really looking forward to seeing that. So, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much to my wonderful cast for bearing with me thus far. Also, shout out to Ned, who said hey earlier in the chat. So Ned if you guys are streaming, we'll probably raid you shortly. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks to my cast for enduring my crazy bullshit.
And let's hear it for Zach.
Oh, thanks guys.
Yay!
Hooray!
But most importantly, guys, we're coming towards the end of the war report pretty soon, after which we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to rejoin our regular characters, hopefully not as god-awfully powerful as these ones. And
Do you want to know how much acumen I have?
I really don't. But suffice to say, probably enough to make me weep. Yeah, that's certainly.
Can confirm.
Yeah, can confirm. But guys, thanks so much for everything. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope that as we kind of see the end of, or at least kind of like the dying down of the pandemic here in the US, that you're safe, that you're healthy, that you take care of the people that you care about, and take care of your mothers, because it's Mother's Day. So take care of them, but most importantly on you and all of those you love. I hope the invisible sun shines on you all. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks for the next installment of the War Report and the next part of Operation Tiberian. Thanks guys. Stick around for the raid.